Hello, my friends, and welcome to Volle on Tour, the podcast for all types of guys, girls, and everything in between. Guys, I'm extremely excited for many reasons. First of all, this is the first English podcast that I'm recording ever. Yeah, usually I do my podcast in English, and I have a guest who's from Chile today. I'm gonna tell a little bit about him, and he can introduce himself as well if he likes. But I'm gonna tell a little bit about him in just a second. But as always, one thing up front, if you guys like this podcast today, and if you can take anything from it, it doesn't matter what it is, if it makes you laugh, if it makes you cry, if you get some value out of it, I would be very, very happy. If you could like the episode, if you can drop a comment, because I really want to get into a conversation with you. Otherwise I cannot learn, I cannot get better, and I really want to do that. Also, don't forget to share the podcast. And at the end of the day, I would be very, very happy if you tell a friend, because I always say that if people tell other people from or about good content, that's the most valuable thing. So I would be very, very pleased about that one. So who do I have with me today? I have my good friend. I know him since more than 15 years now. I think it's 15 or 16 years. I'm not really sure. His name is Cristian Awelo Wagner. For everybody who doesn't know what Awelo means, it's like grandpa. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he will probably say something about that one, why he's called the grandpa by his friends and his family and everybody who knows him. And we basically met 15 years ago. And I don't know, Awelo, do you want to tell the story how we met and like where we know each other from, or should I do it? I let you say a couple words about this one, if you like.
First of all, thank you for having me. I was a little nervous, speaking in English, it's a little difficult for me, but knowing that it is your first English podcast, so that's way worse. But so how we met?
But you know what? To just quickly interrupt you, for everyone who's listening or watching or who's watching this right now, if we make any English mistakes, don't bother. Obviously, we're both not native, but I guess we'll make it work. And if we don't, then we just fucking laugh and everything's fine.
That's right. So we met. Well, I studied in a German school here in Chile, and I was 16, I guess. And in this school, they give you the opportunity to do this school. How do you say it in
like
English?
An exchange.
Exchange. Yes. School exchange, and we usually go to Germany and stay with a German family, and this member of the German family comes back to Chile, and that's the way we met. We were matched. It was a very like archaic Tinder. It was like an old version of Tinder, because we had to fill these forms and say my likes, my dislikes, my favorite music and whatever, and then you send it by mail. I don't know, I don't remember, and then I get yours, you get mine, and then they say, okay, these guys should go together, and that was it, a perfect match.
It's exactly. I can still remember how I had to fill out the form. I'm not quite sure if I did it with together with my parents, or if I did it on my own. But once you said that right now, I'm like, yeah, true. We had to fill out a form, and then we got matched with somebody else, and Yeah, that's
And then we exchanged emails, and we had this email relationship. This was before Facebook and all social media.
Yeah.
So we had to write each other some emails and to get know each other, and so it wouldn't be so awkward, and we know some things about ourselves. But I remember your form. You said I like hip hop music, and that was very important for me because I also liked hip hop music, and you played football, I played football, and that was, we both have the same name, in our other, my Chilean version and your German version. So that was like, okay, this has to be a great match.
yeah. I can remember. I also remember how nervous I was. Like super nervous to, especially, when you write somebody who's sitting at the other side of the world, and you type something into your computer, which was not like, let's be honest, email. It was around for, let's say, 10 years or so, but it was still something quite new, especially for a young person like us, writing an email and just getting a response from somebody you don't know was super weird. And I was so nervous when I met you for the first time. Can you still remember how it was? For like tell something about it for the people.
So when we did this school exchange with we were like 50 Chilean school kids, we were all 16, and we did this 2-week trip through Germany. And the last day, they send you to your city. My city was Hamburg. You lived there. And I was very nervous. I was with a bunch of other friends, I was lucky because I think we were the only people, or the only city that had a lot of friends. I had a friend who was in south of Germany, and he was alone in a little a little place. So to him it was very difficult, but for me I was surrounded by friends. And we took the train, and we arrived to Hamburg main train station. And I remember looking, trying to figure out where were you. I remember your picture, the picture you sent me in this form. You had a longer hair, and I was looking for this kid with longer blonde hair, and I didn't find him. And then I think you touched me my shoulder or whatever, and you said hey, and we hugged, and then there was your father, your mother. I don't know if Melvin was there, your brother, and it was like, okay, I'm very nervous, but your mother started immediately talking to me very fast in the German fast. At the time I did speak, I think, a regular German.
Your German was very good, man. Your German was super good.
So I could understand, but I was, nervous. I didn't know how to talk. But
do you know why I touched you on the back
in your car, and we went to your house? I don't know. I mean,
now the connection is a little bad right now here. But do you know why I actually touched you on the back and not someone else?
I think your connection is a little...
It could be mine, yeah. Sometimes, sorry for that, guys. My connection just was just fucked. But I think it's going to be good again now. Sometimes, my internet connection here at home is just super weak. I don't know why. But now you're completely on there again. But my question. So again, back to the question. Do you know why I actually touched you on the back of and not somebody else? Because my mom, when you arrive with the train, and the train was very, very, very slow, my mom looked through the windows and tried to search for the Chilean people, and then she saw you with your hat, kind of like, with this winter hat, and she was like, "That's the guy." And how do you know that? And she said, "That's the guy. I promise, that's the guy." And it was you. So I was like, okay, cool. My mom, yeah, I don't know how she knew, but she just knew. She saw you and she was like, that's him. So
Yeah.
yeah, super cool, man. And I have to say, I was as nervous as you. Like for me, it was super weird, but I think it like the connection, we got a very good connection very quick. You know, like it
It was
took, I don't know,
instant.
for me it
Yes.
took like 1 or 2 days, and I was in love with
Mm.
my brother from Chile already. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just great times, and we basically spent 6 weeks together, I think, in Germany, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
6 weeks,
Yeah.
and then I came over to Chile for 6 weeks. Do you still remember like let's say the best things about your time in Germany, like when you were 16?
Uh, I mean, this was this was the first time, the really first, because I went to Europe, but I don't know, 2, 3 years old. I don't know. I don't remember that. This
Mhm.
was my first big trip. The first time I was traveling alone. I was a very shy kid. I wasn't used to, being away from my family, and
Mhm.
but I had this contention. I had these friends, and I met you guys. Your family was, I mean, the best family till today. People say I got the best German family, not only in this exchange project, but in the whole world.
You know, when my mom will
Uh,
listen to when my mom will listen to this, she will like her heart will be filled with love. I can already see
I
she's
mean,
gonna
I
start
love her.
crying.
I love her. She's my mother from my mother from Germany.
Yeah.
That's the way. I don't know, man. It was a great experience because it helped me, grow up.
Yeah.
I was, as I said, I was this little shy kid. I made a lot of mistakes. I got drunk a lot. We have a few stories there, but
The good ones, the
uh,
best ones. I can still remember everything vividly. Like, and
me
I
too,
have
me
to
too.
say, it was not your fault. It was my fault most of the time because I said, okay, come on, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, and I don't know. Knowing you guys, it was. I mean, you will friends till today. I,
Yeah.
I I don't think I have friends, my Chilean friends,
Mm.
who did this with me. They don't stay in touch with their families, with their German families. I
Yeah.
think we are the only ones. Maybe there could be a couple of more people who
Mm.
are still in touch, but I don't know if they have this relationship that we have. Not only we two. Me
Mm.
with your family, and I think that says how good an experience was. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
and I think I'm pretty sure for you, it was
Yeah.
a very experience too, a good experience.
Absolutely. Same thing from my side, man. When for me, and what you just said is so true. It made me really like the whole experience going to Chile because it was my first bigger trip. I mean, I went to France before. I went to, I don't know, Denmark maybe or something. I always did that with my family, but for me, it was the first trip that I did on my own, and then you go that far. I mean, it's quite a distance and quite a trip, especially to a country where I don't really speak the language. As said, your German was pretty good. Like after the 6 weeks, you could
Mhm.
speak German pretty fluently. Like you could
Yeah,
understand everything, like
yeah,
everything, and you could speak very well. So for me, it was different. Like I mean, my Spanish, it got better when I was there. Like after the 6 weeks, it got better, but I couldn't speak fluently, and I could definitely not
yeah.
understand
And the
everything.
problem is, the Spanish you were taught at school, it's a whole different language. We in Chile we don't speak Spanish. We speak
Yeah,
Chilean. Like
yeah,
it's a dialect. We speak very fast. We don't say some letters.
yeah,
So it's difficult for any other Spanish speaker country.
yeah.
It's way difficult to I don't know, someone from Germany like you.
Yeah,
it, it, it,
yeah.
it
Yeah, I could figure. I mean, in the whole German group, I think there was just one girl who could speak very good Spanish,
Mm.
pretty fluent, I would say. But that's it. Like everyone else was just fucked with their Spanish because it was very, very hard. But ultimately, and that's what I actually want to say is, it made me grow up as well. It made
Mm.
like besides the fact that we had so much fun, and I just absolutely love your family. Same thing. I got there. Everybody was treating me so well. I think I don't know if it was the first or the second day or whatever. We started with like a Chilean barbecue. And
Mm.
I was like, I was the happiest person on earth sitting there with you, with your whole family at the table, and just, trying to communicate with your brother, with your mother, just great experience. And it makes it, you have to grow up, in my opinion. If you
Yeah,
don't,
yeah,
then you don't have fun, and you won't
of course.
enjoy the experience. So
Mm.
it was
And it
great.
was different because in my family, the only ones who speak German is me. Now I can't, I mean, I can, but not as good as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
My father, and I think my brother was still at this German school. He then changed schools.
And your uncle,
Uh,
right? Who was in Munich for like
yeah,
11
I
years.
mean my father's side of the family, they speak German, but I mean we I know you met them a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's different, because you were living with me, with my mother, and she doesn't speak even English, so I don't know how did you do it. I don't remember that. Maybe you did a sign, with your hands or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think you've been the translator really most of the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
but still, I think you don't, from my experiences, not just the exchange to Chile, but all the other stuff that I've done so far in my life, um, traveling through wherever, Asia, Australia, whatever. You don't really, in my opinion, you don't really need to speak. Like, it would be good if you speak the language in the country where you are staying at right now, yeah, but you don't have to. There's always a way to communicate, and as you said,
Yeah.
with your hands and feet and body language, your facial expressions, everything that you do, it always works, man. I mean, to give you an example,
Yeah.
when I was in Vietnam, I don't speak a single word of Vietnamese. Yeah. The only, like, I try to remember, I think, let's say 6 or 7 words, which was
Mhm.
going straight, left, right, a toilet, I think, and food and something else. Yeah.
Beer.
Just
Beer.
just because I wanted to drive on my motorcycle, and I did through Vietnam, and I wanted to go to the rural areas, where nobody is, just farming lands, and very remote areas, and nobody there speaks English. They
Mm.
probably have never seen a European person before, most of them, and I could still communicate with them. I just,
Yeah.
just talk, just do something, and try to, I don't know, get it done somehow. Always works out. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, you've been the translator in that, in those situations.
How
You,
was it for you? Because I
yeah.
don't know. Did you, before this, you knew you were going to do this exchange to Chile? Did you knew anything? Did you know anything about Chile? Did you?
Nothing.
I don't know. It's
Nothing.
because it's different if you do an exchange to, I don't know, Argentina or Brazil. These are famous countries, in South
Mm,
America.
mm.
But Chile, Chile is
Yeah,
nobody knows.
I know what you mean. To be honest, I didn't know shit about Chile,
Hmm.
nothing. And I was just so excited because you came to Hamburg first, which for
Hmm.
me was very good, because if I would have gone to Chile first, I think it might have been different, because
Yeah.
you obviously know Germany from school, and you
Mhm.
learned German a lot, and was something where you could be like, okay, I already have some kind of knowledge. Yeah, for me, Chile was like, what is Chile like? At the
Hmm.
end of the world, a place somewhere. And I mean, nowadays, obviously, it's totally different. From when I look at Chile now, for me personally, one of the most beautiful places on earth in certain like in different kind of areas, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just for example, nature there is just
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen shit. So
Mhm.
still I would say great country. But to get back to the point, no, I didn't know anything about Chile. But that made it really exciting when I was there, because
Mhm.
everything was new. Like everything I've seen
Yeah.
was completely new to me. And that was super great. Honestly,
And
I loved it.
it's a little, I don't know if you you were able to see that part of Chile, but here, I mean, South America in general is a little chaotic, you know. It's messier, you know. Germany, everything works, you know, everything's perfect, everything's on time. And I was talking this with some friends the other day, you know, and I said to them, you know, I have this German friend, and we once talked about this. I don't know if you remember this,
Yeah.
but I said to you, you know, I love this stuff about Germany. You know, everything works, everything's perfect, and you said, man, that's boring for me. You know,
Yeah.
I want, you know, everything to be messier. You know, to be a little chaotic. You know, and that's, I mean, Chile. It's a very advanced, I don't know, it's advanced is it's a word, but it's a country where things work. Not perfect, not at all, but they work, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes not, but it's better. I don't want to sound, you know, that I'm comparing to other countries in South America, but I know there are other countries that are not that developed, you know,
For sure.
and in Chile there are certain things, you know, that work, but you also have this chaos, you know, that maybe you Europeans want, and I couldn't understand why, you know, why would you want something to not work perfectly? And
Yeah.
now I think I guess I understand it.
Yeah, but I'm to answer your question. So first of all, to get back to this thing what you just said about Chile. So I honestly I cannot tell if different kind of systems and the whole way it works in Chile, if it actually works quite well. I guess that's just from what I've seen and from what I've known through my first apprenticeship, actually, which was in advertising, where I I had to do a study on South American countries. And the one thing that stuck with me was that Chile economically is on the rise compared to most of the other countries in South America and Central America, if you compare them. That was 10 years ago. I don't know how it is now, but I could guess. I don't know. You could tell better than I do, but 10 years ago it was a fact. You could see it on the numbers. Yeah. And so I could see your point in saying it works quite all right. Yeah, the systems work quite all right compared to Germany. Obviously, yeah, typical German. Everything is on point. Everything is on time, which is not true always. Like it's not 100%. Yeah, but it's also we do have good systems running. And why do I not like it? Why did I tell you that I want more chaos and I want to have more? How would you say? Just it's it's fucking boring, to be honest. It's like everything is just the same. Everything is very, very strict. You have to get in line. You have to get in order, and that's just not life. Life is there to be lived, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's hard sometimes in Germany. Obviously, there's positives and negatives to it. Yeah. So if for example, I think 2 weeks ago I had to update my passport because I have to go to the UK in the beginning of July for a wedding. And my passport is not valid anymore. I don't know how it works in Chile, but here in Germany, you can get your passport done. Like if you do the regular thing, it takes you 4 weeks, but everything is set. You just go there. It's going pack, 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 pack. And then everything is done. You can go home. You go there again, and then you get your passport. Or you do it like a quick version in 3 days. Also possible. And everything is running smoothly and everything is working. So that's a positive most of the time. Yeah. But sometimes the the amount of administration involved in anything that we do is just so big that it sometimes just takes so long, and it's so annoying, and you have to give them another, I don't know, another code, another number, another whatever paper, and you just be like, oh, come on guys, can't we just do
bureaucracy
this? Yeah, exactly, and it's super annoying in my opinion. So
well, I think in Chile we have, bureaucracy here in Chile, it's very big. It takes a long time to, if you want to renew your passport or your ID card or whatever, it's difficult. It's not that easy. So you have to schedule. You have to be prepared to do very long lines waiting. I don't know. But I don't know. I wanted to say something. Chile. Well, Chile used to be a rising star in South America. Now we are, but that was an image, Chile. Yeah, economically it was going up, but till today it's a very unequal country. There's a few people that can be, sure about their lives. They have jobs, and I don't know, can live with a quality of life better than the other ones, but the majority of the country isn't in that shape. So, and 3 years ago we had this revolution rised, and it was very big, and till today we've been dealing with the consequences of that revolution. We had this curfew this was just right before the pandemic, so we had the curfew in October till last July. I don't know, it was crazy. We had almost 3 years in curfew, and people went and burned supermarkets, the subway stations. It was the military was in the streets dealing with this. And today we're discussing, people are writing a new constitution, because the constitution we actually till today we have today, it's a constitution that was written by the military when we had the dictatorship in Chile.
Wow.
Like 30 years ago. And this is a constitution that allowed us to, rise economically, because it's a very liberal constitution, but it is, written for a few. So for the elite. And people, wanted to change that. And there is this belief here in Chile that with the new constitution, all the problems will go away. And I know for a fact that it won't be like that. And this process of writing the new constitution has been a little chaotic. People are the ones who are writing it were elected by the people, and I don't know, there are people that I don't think they are capable of writing a constitution.
Meaning,
but it's okay, because people, it's people from everywhere. It's a constitution written by the people for the people. But I don't know if I haven't read it so far, because it's not ready yet. But I don't know, maybe it will be a good thing. The right, the politics, are saying this will be a disaster. The people from the left are saying this will be good. And
of course.
So that's Chile today. It's a very polarized country.
Yeah. All right.
Very unequal country. I'm very lucky because I'm the one, I'm part of the people who don't suffer like the majority, and I know that, and I can't oversee that.
It's funny that you started talking about this, because I have this here on my list of stuff to talk about, which is like economics in general, and how your country is doing right now, and what you guys are doing, and how everything works. And I found it to be quite interesting, because to be honest with you, you don't really hear from that. Well, everything you've just said, I hear it for the first time. It might be like back in my memories that I heard something about like the riots in the streets in Chile. Yeah, maybe they put it on the news one time or something. And 3 years ago, sometimes I still read some news. Today, I don't really read anything about the news anymore. Like literally nothing. I don't even use my TV really. So, but it's very interesting to see that a very, how would you say, in my opinion, a very cool country, or a country with very nice people, from what I've known. Yeah, every Chilean person that I've met so far was very nice, very open-minded. You could talk to them, they're funny, and that's the kind of picture that you get from a country, obviously, then. But you as a foreigner, you're not really deep into it. So hearing about it is on the one hand, it's crazy to me, like, because I didn't know. And on the other hand, it's very interesting to see that in comparison to, like, let's say Germany or France or the UK or whatever, that you guys are struggling. You're struggling with like really difficult stuff. I mean, if we talk about, let's set up a new constitution for a country, imagine this somewhere here in Europe. Would never happen. It's like that's just crazy. If somebody comes up and says, yeah, let's make up a new constitution, yeah, everybody would be like, what are you talking about? Everything works quite all right, and we're not in war. I don't know, streets are not filled with idiots who burn supermarkets down. So and then seeing that or hearing that it's normal in other countries, that just makes you realize how good we have it here in our country, And just like you said, I thought that was a great, like a great ending to your point of saying, I'm actually doing quite all right, and I don't have to worry that much, and I know that, and I'm very grateful for it, because that's what you basically said. Like I could
and it's crazy, because when you see these difficulties, for us it isn't, for the rest of the people, it is difficult, to have to live in this country in which you get paid very, very little, for a big amount of work, and healthcare is very bad, education is very expensive and bad. And I know people, who say, well, if the constitution goes bad, I will go out of the country. I will go to other countries.
Just one second, Awelo. Just 1 second. We have less than a minute. I don't know if you can see it on your computer as well. Yes. Yeah. We would need to like wait and start again.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, but it's I don't know how it works. I think I can do another set. I think it's like 45 minutes every time we do it. Otherwise, if you have something that can record the video as well, I don't know. Otherwise, because I only have this, I don't have Teams like Microsoft Teams privately. And we're back. Okay, so for the people who are wondering what happened, guys, we can only record for like 45 minutes, and then we would have to do another session really, because we are recording this via Zoom, and it doesn't work like we wanted to, but we're doing our best here. Yeah. And I think it's going good so far. But you know what? Before we get back into the economics thing, Awelo, because I think it's very, very interesting to me to hear about this. You asked me about my beard, yeah, and I wanted to tell you the story because for everyone who is watching this or who is just listening, I had a way longer beard than I have right now, and I cut it 4 days ago. And Awelo, before we started this podcast, he was saying, "Oh, you cut your beard," and I was like, "Yeah, I did cut my beard. I had to," and I didn't tell him why I had to. And I want to make some people laugh here right now, so I tell a quick story of the last weekend, what happened there. So I went to me and 2 friends of mine. Do you still know Basha? Did I tell you about? Did you meet him? Yeah, exactly. So with him and another friend of mine, we went to it's called Schanze. It's an area here in Hamburg where people go out. You know, a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants. Very cool area. And we went into a bar, and most of my friends already told me, "Oh man, what's going on with your beard? Like, cut it. Please cut it." And I'm like, "No, man, I just let it grow. Let me do my thing, you know." And then when we went into the bar, and a girl came up to me, in like, you know, there was music, everybody was dancing, and I was having a great time. And she was talking to a good friend of mine, yeah, and he was the one who was telling me, "Cut your beard," for like 2 or 3 months now already, and he's annoying. To be honest, he's annoying the fuck out of me. And I'm like, okay. So she comes over and starts to like touch my beard and touch my face, and I'm like, "What's going on? Like, what are you doing? Don't, please stop this." And she was like, "You know, you're a really good looking guy, but what's going on with the beard? What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh man, okay, all right." So usually I don't really care what people say, especially because she came from my friend. So I knew that he told her to tell me, even though she told me, no, that was my thing. And he said, no, that was her idea. And I'm like, yeah, of course, that was her idea. All right. Okay. So usually I don't care when people say anything about me, really. It doesn't matter if you are someone that I know personally and that I like, friends, family, or if you're a stranger. I don't really care. So we kept on going. Yeah. And then on our way back home, we took it's called a Moja. It's like a taxi service, but more people can get into the car, and it's like it drops you off at certain places in the city.
Okay.
Yeah. And we were sitting in there, the 3 of us, and one girl comes in. So we start talking to the girl. Same night. Yeah, just 2 hours later. And what happens? we start talking about what kind of jobs we have. And one of my friends told, like, she was like, "What do you guys do?" And he says, "Yeah, have a guess." You know, the typical thing, have a guess thing. So, and then she says, "Yeah, so you work in marketing." He's in construction. So completely, I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Then the other guy sells cars. Not at all. He's an engineer, kind of. Yeah. So, but she didn't really get anything. And then she looks at me. Yeah, me sitting in the back, in the right back corner of the car. I look at her, and she looks at me, and she says, "And you own a weed shop." Fuck this. A weed shop. A weed shop. You own a weed shop. And I'm like, fuck that. Okay, all right. Okay, now it's done. Now I have to cut my beard. You know, the day after, I thought, quite a nice compliment. She thinks I'm an entrepreneur, you know, I have my own business. And then I thought about it again, and I was like, nah, man, she just thinks you look like an idiot. And that happened 2 times in one night. And then I was like, okay, it's enough. Go and cut your beard. And yeah, I don't know, just quickly wanted to tell you how it happened. And yeah, maybe some people would laugh about it. Yeah, but back to the economics thing. Like for you in Chile, so how would you describe it? Is the lower class the main class in Chile, or do you have a proper middle class, or what's going on over there in general?
We have a middle class, but we love to say we are a middle class country.
Yeah.
But we really aren't. We have a lower class that's very big, and maybe this middle class exists, and it contains a lot of people, but I don't know, man. As I said, healthcare, education, everything is so expensive. It's crazily expensive. It has, we have euro prices here.
Is it privatized?
Yes, everything.
It's privatized. All right. Okay. That
Everything.
says a lot.
And the health provided by the state, it's full. If you want to get I have my how do you say, grandmother, right? Great grandmother. She's still alive. She's like 95. Woo. And she has to, go to the public system. And if she wants to, get I don't know, an exam, or do some medical intervention or whatever, has to wait a lot of time. She had to do a surgery in her eyes a couple of years ago, and she had to wait like 2 years to do it. Whoa. Because you have to wait. It's crowded, and that hasn't a that cost for her. It was free. But I mean, what if you had this urgent thing and you can't wait 2 years? You'll die.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. If you want to go to the university, it's very, very expensive. Like 500, 600 euros per month. If you want to go to university, and
what's the average?
Chile, the average income is, I don't know.
No, two questions to put it into perspective. Yeah. So first of all, how many people do you have in Chile at the moment? What's the population?
Millions.
How many?
18 millions. 18 millions.
18 million. Okay, and the majority is in the lower class, you would say. So okay, I get that one. And so if it costs you, by the way, 500 or 600 euros a month, that's a lot for us in Germany too. It's not easy.
And average income is like 600 euros.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought, because lately I've been into. I try to get more into this, or I actually do own and trade a little in this crypto space. And there's a quite an interesting project, an NFT project, where I saw a video about an English guy who was renting out his NFT to a guy from Argentina. And the guy from Argentina is playing, now he's just playing fucking poker every day. And he makes way more money with that, like way more money than the average person does in Argentina. In Argentina, they said it's like the average salary is like 200 or 300 euros per month. It's like nothing. That's nothing. And he now makes like 1,000 euros per month just by playing this thing. I just wanted to give people a perspective of how much money that is for you over there. 600 euros or 500 euros for university is a lot of money. Like that's crazy money.
It's crazy money.
Yeah.
And I don't know, today we have a bigger inflation, we have like 10% inflation, and Argentina is crazy, it's like 30%. And Venezuela is like 1 million. I don't know. I'm not kidding, it's like 1 million. That's crazy. But that's not now a South American problem. That's a worldwide problem.
Yeah, exactly. And so one thing, if I go back into my memories, the first thing that I remember from my time in Chile is actually driving from the airport to your house and seeing I don't know. Do you call them favelas as well? Like
No, it's not favelas. We call
ghettos.
them in Spanish. It's población. It's like yeah, it's like the word, the ghetto word. You know.
Yeah. And that's what I can still remember. We are driving on the highway, and I look onto the right side, and there is the shittiest. You cannot even call it a house. It's like I don't know.
Near the river.
Say again.
Near in the side of the river.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
On the side of the highway, like on the right side of the highway, I look to the right, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, who wants to live there? And then I realized, like with 15 or 16 years of age, okay, that's the ghetto of Santiago, or one of them, maybe. I don't know, maybe that it's not even the worst part, but still,
not at all.
Yeah. See, there you go. But for me, that seeing that was like, woof, crazy, you know. And I can relate to that a little, at least.
You know, that place, I know what you mean, because that's the first thing everyone sees when they come to Chile, you know, because you have to get out of the airport. The only way you can do it is by this highway.
Yeah.
This is a highway built from the airport to, you know, the other places of the city. Yeah. And you have to go through this part, and you can see these houses, like these very, very poor houses.
Yeah.
And those are, you know, those territories, you know, there are these people who live there, they just went there and built their houses. These are not their you know, their lands.
Yeah.
You know? And this happens a lot here in Chile. We call them tomas. They take these places and they make them their own, and they build these houses. They don't have water. They don't have, you know, electricity. And if they do have, they are stealing it. You know, they're taking. You know, I don't know how, but they do it, and that's you know, the first thing you see in Chile is the inequality, because you can see that, and then you go a few kilometers up north or whatever, and you'll see a very different side of the story. You know, where I lived, where I used to live, it was another story, you know, and I know that, and I'm very aware of those differences.
So that brings two questions to my mind straight away. So, since you have or since the lower class is the biggest, or the majority, really, I guess you also have a lot of crime and problems with bad education, I guess, and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything for, like, are you guys trying to work that stuff out, or is it accepted? You know, like, is it something that you want to change? Because going back a little further, you said you're writing a new constitution, and it came from people complaining and saying, hey, this is not right, we should change it. Yeah. Who were these kind of people? Where have been the poor people who said enough is enough and now we need to change something? Or is it just the normal average person, or people with better incomes who say, okay, we live a good life, but we want other people in our country to have a good life as well? So who is the initiator in this? Yeah. And do you, like, how does it work?
The ones who initiated this were students, you know. One day the government said it was a right government. Government said, and it's weird because the president was one of the richest persons in Chile, you know. He was an entrepreneur, so it was a difficult relationship with the Chilean people, and the government said, you know, we have to raise the cost of public transportation. 30 pesos. 30 pesos is like, I don't know, 50 cents. I don't know. It's not that much, you know. But it was not. It was like the fifth time in not a long time that they did that. So people started, you know, to protest, and the students started to go to the subway and not pay the subway, just go through it and stop the trains and whatever. And then it was in one day that this happened, and at night all the city was burning. It was very, very crazy. And well, this was a process. We went to have this new constitution. We have a new president. He's the youngest president in the world. He's 36. Okay. He was part of the revolution, of the students' revolution in 2011. He was a student. He then went to Congress, and he then, now he's president. It's a very crazy story.
Yeah. So, but to interrupt you here, meaning when the students did this, then obviously it had to have. How would you say this? Since it has been a student who did it, it's the upper class who wants to change, or who tries to initiate the change in your country. Because poor people cannot go to university. Is that correct?
But these weren't students of universities. They were school students.
All right. Okay, now I get it.
And it's not that true that where poor people can't. I mean, the really, really poor people can't go to university. That's correct. But there is also possibilities.
Okay.
Scholarships or whatever. Student, I don't know. But no, this was a rise to, protest the inequality of the system. And they said it's not the 30 pesos, it's the 30 years, meaning these 30 years post dictatorship that they promised, the politics promised that things will be better. They weren't, so people were tired, and it was a natural thing to happen. And of course, the people, the richer people and the rich people and the ones who are, from the right politic spectrum, they didn't want this change to happen because they live a very good life. But I think change is necessary. I don't think it hasn't been a perfect, process, this process of writing a new constitution, but I don't know, we have to see. And if we have to write it, and then people have to go to vote if they approve it or if they reject it. There's still the possibility we will not have a new constitution. And I mean, if they approve it, it will be, I don't know, people will be happy. People will think their problems will go away. I don't think that's true. And if we reject it, I don't know what could happen. Maybe we can have protests again, riots or whatever. I don't know. It's crazy.
Wow, interesting times, man. That's and how do you feel about it? How do you like you just said you think change is necessary, but if you would be a little more specific, let's point three big areas, or let's put some light on three big areas where you would say, hey, I think that's where we have to attack. That's where we have to change something.
I don't know,
because you cannot change it all. Let's be honest. I mean, you're writing a new constitution, all good, but ultimately you cannot change everything. And it's, as you said, it's always a process, and a process is most of the time it's messy. And it's called a process because it takes time. And even if you have a new constitution, and let's say it does help and it makes things and life better in general, that's not coming from one to the other day. It's going to be a process for years and years and years, and most people don't get that usually. And but that's a different story. But to go back to my question, which areas where would you say that's the most important ones where we need to work on in Chile?
I mean, healthcare, education. I mean, education. For me, education is the biggest, it's the answer to everything.
I agree on that.
You know, when you see developed countries that are, you know, first world countries, they have good education systems.
Yep.
And if you have good education, you solve a lot of problems, you know. And I think education is key. Healthcare is key, and people are, I don't know, pensions. They are talking here that the possibility, I don't know, I don't think they will do it. Actually, they didn't write it on the constitution, but they were saying, you know, that when you work, you give money to your pension every month, and then when you want to retire, you have you know, become this how do you say, this amount of money every month, so you can live when you're retired. In Chile, pensions are terribly bad. But that has, and people are, of course, wanting to change the pension system we have. It's a private pension system. You know, these are companies that take your money and, you know, invest it, and they do very good, but they make a lot of money, and we don't see much difference in our money. But the thing is, if you don't earn a lot of money, of course you will not get a good pension, because you don't have a lot of money in your account, in your, you know, pension. And what they wanted to do is to take all of the money of all the people, and, you know, and equally give it to all of the Chilean people, you know.
That sounds terrible, man.
That's a socialist or communist, you know, action. They will not do it, but you know, the right, the people from the right, they are saying this will happen, and your money will not be yours anymore. I don't know, man. I don't think it will actually happen. I saw what they write, and it didn't say that, but pensions is something we have to work on, because you know, people are, I don't know, my great grandmother, she earns monthly, I don't know, like 50 euros. That's crazy. That's, you know, ridiculous. If you want to retire at 65, you can't live with 50 euros per month.
Not possible. I get that.
So I don't know, healthcare, pensions, education. That's the three things we have to work on.
And education, the education system is not that good in general because of what reasons? Is it because the teachers don't get paid enough money? Is it like the job is just not attractive enough for people to do it? So you have bad employees, so to speak. So then they don't educate the people very well, or is it a system's fault, where you would say, just, I don't know, just some schools are just fucked up, they don't work, you know, like the kids don't even go there because they don't have enough teachers, or I don't know, the way they set it up is just not good. What's the main problems? What do you think?
And there are many main problems. The system isn't that good. You know, state schools, you know, the ones that are paid from this state, they don't have enough money, you know, to infrastructure and I don't know, to build something, a very good environment. Then there is the education system, you know, the way we teach kids. That's also a problem. And I think one of the main problems is how we pay our teachers. I'm talking not now. I'm not talking about universities. I'm talking about, you know, schools. And we pay miserably. our teachers.
Yeah.
They are the ones who educate us. And if they get paid awfully, I mean, of course there are people who do their work and they don't do it for the money. They have this call for better to do another person's life better. But if you don't get paid as you deserve, I mean, I think it kills a little your energy.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of problems about our education system. And I don't know.
What would be the solution in your opinion? Money?
Money, but well spent. I think you have to. You can have a lot of money, but you can waste it. You have to spend it correctly. You have to be smart. You have to be responsible.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have people. Of course, there are people that can do that job, but money. And of course we need money for many other reasons. We have to so I don't know how you can do it. We have if we talk about universities, we have like 5 state universities. It doesn't mean they are free. It just means that they have a better reputation. That's all. The best universities in Chile, the Chile University, the Catholic University, those are the best ones. They are one of the, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, that's the thing. If you want to go to those universities, you have to do very good in this. It's like the Abitua. Test when you get out of school.
It's like passing high school, really.
Yeah. If you don't do good and you didn't have good grades in school, you can't go to those universities because they have a very high, standard. So your option is go to a private university.
Yeah.
But those private universities are very, very expensive also.
Yeah.
So if you are in a public school, you didn't do very good because the system wasn't very good, because at home you had problems, and I don't know, you were surrounded by a bad environment. You get out of school, you want to study something, I don't know what, but something. You can't get to the best universities. You can't afford to go to other shitty universities. What do you do?
Yeah, so I get the point. I get the point. It sounds like even if you would so first of all, if you're a person like you just described, I think most people lose hope, in that kind of situation, and they be like, okay, what should I do anyway? I don't bother anymore, really. Like my life is miserable, and I'm not gonna get out of this. That's most people, but that's a mindset thing. But I can understand it, like from a neutral perspective, looking at it, and just the way you described it, it doesn't sound good, But even if you would be a person who is, let's say, motivated to do better and to educate themselves and to try to, I don't know, make something out of their lives, obviously they cannot do it. Or it's very, very hard to get into this position to do it, to get to the university. So that's also very discouraging, meaning that the system, there is obviously a problem with your system. And I'm with you. I think, in my opinion, most of the time it is money. Money is a solution to a lot of things, but you are right. It has to be well spent. And from what I hear so far is that Chile in general doesn't have that much money. But I don't know. I would spend it on education too. Of course, the healthcare system is an important thing. But I think first of all, you need to educate people, because if you don't educate people, nothing is going to change in the future. And as we just said, it's always a process. let's to give another example. Let's say you put a lot of money into the healthcare system, and you have a good healthcare system. That's fine, yeah. But all the people who are coming up, like younger people who grow up, kids, teenagers, if you don't educate them, what does the good the good healthcare system, or any other system, what does that do if you don't have educated people coming up in order to get into these branches and do good work? Ultimately, you have a nice system, but you don't have people who can manage the system, and that's shit. To be like, it's just not good. So you have to start at the core, at the bottom, and then work from there, and that takes time, and it takes money. Yeah, doesn't really sound that appealing to me.
Yeah. I mean, people like to say we have money. Chile, our economic is all about the mining industry, copper.
Yeah.
We export it. We don't do anything. We take it and we sell it to China. That's our thing. If China one day decides to stop buying us, we are fucked. So we don't even have this manufacturing industry of copper or lithium or the other minerals, and that's something we have to also work, and I guess that's not a constitutional problem. That this is a presidential problem. If you want to change things, you have to try to develop a more diverse economic system, I guess. We can't rely just on copper, that's crazy.
Is corruption a big thing over there? I guess so, right?
It wasn't, we really wanted to believe that, if you want to buy a police officer, if you want to pay him, so, to bribe him, they will take you to jail, immediately. That's a very good thing, I know here in South America, there are countries that if you do that, that you have to do that if you want to get out of any problem.
Yeah.
But last 10 years, we've been seeing a lot of cases of corruption. The military, the police, they all have steal a lot of money, a lot of money,
It's funny, hey, you can see that everywhere. Like there's so much leaking anywhere in the world.
Where power is, there's greed. You have to think. I always think that you see any president or any person in a position of power, the first thing you have to think about him or her: what did this person do to get there? What are the things he knows? What are the things he did, and he had to look to the other side. There are a lot of ways to go to the top, and if you are in a position of power, I think it's related to something that may be not too ethical, and that's why people, when you have a lot of when you are in the military and you can manage a lot of money of your budget, and we are not at war, so how do you spend that money? And they just steal it, And the last 5 generals, the biggest step in the military career, they all did this. How do you say when you steal money? It's like a scheme, they did this scheme, and they
okay, I get it.
steal, a lot of money. So we have corruption. We pretended we pretended we didn't have, but we do as every. I mean,
but in comparison to other countries in South America, I think you still do quite well in that regard, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are different kinds of corruption. The corruption we see are bigger in a way that we don't see it every day. You know, we don't have to deal with it every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, again, for me as a German person, like hearing this, I know, you know me, and you know that I've, I don't know, came around a little and traveled a bit and tried to talk to as many people as I can from different countries, different ages, different cultures, different backgrounds, whatever. And I'm just interested. I just want to know, who are you? What are you doing? Where you from? Talk to me. Tell me something. And I do the same. I always have the same feeling that we do so well here, and we all just, we're not thankful enough, we Germans, and it's crazy for me every time I hear this, because I hear this so much from people from other countries that are not from Europe, and we cannot even imagine living in that kind of situation. Same with corruption. I mean, there is some corruption here in Germany as well, I guess, but yeah, I mean, not that much. Hopefully, I don't know, to be fair, but yeah, we will see. But I would say let's make it a quick break right here. Yeah, and Cristian needs to go to the toilet, and then we're gonna be back in like 5 seconds. Okay, guys, see you in five seconds. We're back. So, Awelo, we talked a lot about economics in Chile, and I think there's so much more to discuss and like to put some light on. But I wanted to change the conversation a little, and talk about something, because all of that was very, in my opinion, is super interesting. I like to talk about economics and problems in general, and tough challenges for countries and people, like just you as a person, but I also would like to talk to you about you as a person, because I want people to get to know you, who you are, what you've done so far in your life, and what are you currently doing, and what the future holds for you, so that people get some kind of, usually I do this in the beginning, but we just jumped right into it, and I love that. But I would like you just talk a little about yourself and what you've done so far in your life, so that people can get some knowledge about you, So maybe just start, man. Like, where have you been growing up? What kind of family? What are your values? I don't know. Just say something.
Okay, well, I was born in La Serena. La Serena is a city in the north of Chile, like 500 kilometers away, north of Santiago. I was born there. I lived there till I was 5, and then because of my father's job, we came here to Santiago, and I've been living here since then. I have a big family. I have 5. I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters. My parents aren't together. My father married again, and that's why I have other brothers and sisters. And we are a very tight family.
Yeah.
What else? I studied in this German school, so that's why we met. It gave me the opportunity, not only to get access to good education, but also to get access to another language, and that's, to me, very valuable. I'm very sad because I lost my German. I know it's there, but I have to work on it. I have to rehearse. But I studied, when I finished school, I studied a few years journalism.
Yeah.
I didn't go through with it. I was in a bad place, I didn't I was immature,
Yeah.
and I wanted something. I didn't know what.
Yeah.
So I the only thing I knew is I like to write.
Yeah.
I write short stories,
Yeah.
fiction,
Yeah.
and
Do you still do that?
yeah, I do it, and I'm getting better. I'm not good enough, but I at that time I wanted to be a writer, and that's a very vague thing to say, and I don't have to. I don't think you have to dedicate your life to writing to say you are a writer. You just have to write.
Yeah.
You can do other things in between, and so I didn't know. I started journalism because I like to write, but then I realized, journalism it's bigger. You have to have another qualities that I didn't have at the time. So I stopped that. I tried a little literature.
Yeah.
I realized that wasn't my world. I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
So then I worked for a year. I was kind of lost, and then I started to study advertisement, and that's the thing I finished. I'm a I don't know how to say it in English. I don't know if advertiser is the word. I know in the US they say publicist, or I don't know, but it's in Chile it's publicista. Publicidad, it's advertisement. So I don't know.
Is it a mix between journalism and marketing, or what is it?
It's a mix between marketing and making ads for brands. Making campaigns, communication campaigns, and whatever. And it helped me. All of my history with the academy world helped me to be where I am today. I have tools of every career I experience with, and it has helped me to develop projects that I'm very proud of. And I've been working since 2016 at this very small company. What we do is we develop online radio stations for companies. Like corporate radio stations, and we've been doing that for a lot of time. And our main clients, our only clients, are mining companies.
How come?
Because they have the mine, this hole in the ground where people are working. The miners. We produce this online radio station that they can hear, so they can be entertained, so the company can communicate all of their intern communications. And so it's a way to strengthen the relationship between the company, a very big company, and their workers. So they can send if you are working in this mine, you can send us a WhatsApp audio, and we will put it in the radio so they can hear themselves. You can ask for a song. Mining, the people who work in mines, they have these schedules. They have to be there like 2 weeks, and go back home 1 week, and then go back to work. So they have to be away from their families. So families can also send them, some messages. Then we can share that through the radio. And that's a very interesting way of doing radio. It's very far from the traditional way of radio. We don't have to, seek advertisement, but because traditional radios, They have to survive by having brands that want to advertise themselves in our station.
Yeah.
Because this is a corporate station, they just pay us monthly and we don't have to worry about that. And we make a media just for them.
Yeah.
So that's it's a custom sized media for them.
Yeah. I got something interesting for you, Awelo. I hear these kind of radios when I go into the supermarket here around the corner.
Yeah.
You know, they have the same thing. There's a brand called Penny.
Okay.
Germans might know it. Yeah, other people don't know it. I mean, maybe you remember. But they since, I don't know, a couple months, maybe a year or so, they have this kind of radio thing in their stores as well. So people from like employees can call in and say, hey, I would like to listen to this song, or on the radio they talk about the latest meals you can do, or like some sales marketing for people who come in and buy some stuff, you know, maybe try this or do that or whatever. It's very, like, I like it. I even like it as a customer, you know. It's quite cool, and I think especially for you. And do you do it on your own, or do you do it with other people, like with
other people? There are these people who try to get new clients, and me and a journalist, a friend of mine, she's a very good journalist. She do all the journalism part, you know. They sent her you know, this big PDFs with internal information, and she turns it into radio
material,
you know. And I edit all that material and I program it. I have the software and I manage all the radio stations, and we can do it from home. I see my co-workers once a year.
Wow. Do you actually have a company? Did you build a company? Like, you started?
I didn't start it.
No, okay, but it is obviously a proper company. They had to,
it's a proper company. It's we're 4 people, and we don't need no more people, you know. I mean, if we start to getting more clients, of course I have limited amount of time, you know.
Of course.
And this is not only this is not the only thing I do, you know. I have also another job, also in radio, but this is a traditional radio station. This is a radio station. It is in Viña del Mar. You were there. It's a city 100 kilometers away from Santiago. It's in the coast. And we have there 3 FM signals. It's a little chain of a new radio we've been developing since last year. We started like in September of 2021. And I've been, you know, developing their image, the way we communicate, all the creativity that requires to, you know, make a radio and to talk to the people who are listening to us and whatever. And if we have new ideas, I have to, you know, develop them, you know, make them happen. So it's amazing, you know, to do something like that, because I never would have thought that I would be doing this as a living. You know, my father, he was the one who did that for his career. And I do this with my father, and he has given me the opportunity to work not only with him, and that's a very nice experience, but also to learn a lot about anything. You know, it is a very interesting world, you know, the radio station world. And I do this also from home. I actually don't have an office. I spend a lot of time at home, so when the pandemic started, it wasn't too bad for me because I could still do my job.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that couldn't, so I could, and I'm still doing it. And I don't know, it's interesting. That's what I do.
Yeah. So you actually like your job. I always ask that question because most people don't.
I'm very passionate about it. I mean,
cool.
I've always said that if I wasn't, with my girlfriend, I wouldn't stop working. I have a lot of ideas and I could work a lot, but in past few months, time, I haven't been able to have a lot of time for me, and that's started to be a problem. I started to be a little anxious.
Yeah.
And so now I'm trying to separate, all my work time with my personal time.
Yeah.
And that's been good,
Yeah. And how did you, because I find this very, very interesting. How did you come to the conclusion that that's the stuff that you like, that's the job that you want to do, or that's your, would you call it your passion, like this radio thing, or is it something that you just slowly got into, or did you know?
Slowly got into. I never thought, my father never said to me, you have to work with me or whatever. But all the knowledge I was having, learning and all the things, writing, this journalism thing, this advertisement thing, all started to, make sense to me.
Yeah.
When he told me about something in the radio, and I said, oh, you can do this, you can do this, and you can do that, and I started to picture a bigger picture, for his radio. And he said, well, come work with me if you want. And at that time, I was in a very bad, I had a very bad job experience. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And then I realized that all the things, all this knowledge, I was capable of doing it. To make a change. And it was the first time I really was thinking I was capable of something,
Nice,
it was a validation, a personal validation, not only personal, but also work-wise. I realized I was capable of doing great things with all this knowledge I have. So it started to as an experience, as helping someone, and it developed into something I'm very passionate about. And not only that, all about audio, podcasts, projects. I don't know. I love that. I love that.
Man, so first of all, I'm super, super happy for you.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, honestly, it's great. It's great to hear. I'm always happy for any person, but especially obviously friends and family like you. That makes me, I'm just smiling all the time. I'm listening to you, I'm smiling. It's just great. And I can relate to that in a sense, because I haven't, I'm not at that point like you are. I haven't found the thing that I want to do, kind of, I'm still in search for it, and that's okay, I guess. But I think when I listen to you, the way you explain it is it's very funny, because I think the same way. All the stuff, all the knowledge that you got in the past, everything that you've done, the different kind of things that you've done, they all come together and they help you now, and I have the same kind of feeling with the stuff that I did so far in my life, that I'm at a point where I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe I'm just talking shit, to be honest with you. But I have the feeling that in the next, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 years, whatever, there will be something clicking for me as well, where I'll be like, yeah, man, that's actually, that makes sense for you. That makes sense to go that route. Because for all the stuff that you did before, now it comes together and it just clicks, and I'm still in search for that. To give you an example, this stuff here, talking to people, and trying to create content, like really good content that is interesting, and especially where people can learn something from, like or maybe just laugh a little or whatever it is, that makes me really happy. I don't know. It's just something that I really, really like and enjoy. And I do have a lot of other things that I like, like real estate. I like sports a lot. I like food so much, I could see myself having my own restaurant, and I could see myself doing this and that. And, but this stuff here is actually something where I think, I could do that pretty much every day, just talking to interesting people and getting to know these persons and listen to them and learn from them. And I don't know. I just wanted to say, really, I'm not at the point where you are so far, but it will hopefully happen eventually.
Yeah.
And seeing that it works, seeing that it can actually be like that and not seeing it with a fucking famous person, who tells you on Instagram or who tells you on TV, you will find your passion. You will do, if you just search for it, that's just fucking,
I mean,
but seeing that in a normal person like you, that I know, a good friend of mine, that actually tells me, all right, it's gonna happen, and that's good to see, and that makes me happy for you as well, really.
It takes time, as I said, I was lost, I didn't have a purpose, and I never thought that I would have one. I was thinking, okay, this is life, you have to live, that's it, and when you have a purpose, when you find out what you like, maybe I'm not in the point I want to be right now, but I know I'm the correct path, I'm where I'm at the correct, route, so I can be. Maybe it's not that clear where I want to be, or maybe we don't have to be so sure, because then you will be living for the future and not for the present. Maybe this place you want to be is just now. Maybe it's a very big cliche, but cliches are famous because they're true, but it takes time. It takes some suffering, some alone time, but then you'll figure it out, and it will be great to know that you're doing something you want. And if you like it so much, talking to other people, doing this podcast and creating content, I think that's something that nowadays it's so possible to do, to live for and to I don't know, it's we live in a crazy times, but also we live in an amazing moment that we can do anything from home, and we don't need so much. We only need a little bit of creativity and hard work. That's it.
I'm 100% with you. You know what, like you the stuff that you just said, yes, I do like making this kind of content, and I do like talking to people. I'm just interested in human beings. I love human beings. But the core point of what I really, why I really like it, or why I would love to do that even more and make a living out of it, maybe, is I want to help people. Let's go back to the whole conversation that we had today. When I listened to what you said about Chile, about all these poor people, about this bad systems, about, I don't know, problems, riots, fucking whatever it is. When I listened to this, and then looking at my own life, looking at where I'm from, and not just where I'm from, fuck where I'm from, but how my life has been so far and what kind of position I am in. I'm just a blessed human being. I'm really blessed in all kind of ways. And when I consider, like, when I think about that, then I just come to the conclusion, man, Cristian, you should just try to help other people to get better, to have a better life, because you are blessed. You can't complain really about anything. That doesn't mean I should not try to be better or try to have a better life for myself. I think that's a human thing that we all have. We don't want to be stuck. We want to keep moving and move forward in life, however that looks like. But again, it's like when I'm thinking about myself, I'm just blessed, man. To be honest with you, I could die right now and say I had a fucking great life, better than most people have in their whole lives. Even if they live 100 years, I could still say that was great. And I could look from above onto the planet Earth and say, hey, was cool, And then it brings me back to the conclusion. Just help people. And I think, as you said, we live in a time where you can do that very easily. Just go back 30 years ago or 40 years ago or whatever. Like, it was not possible. If you want to reach many people, there was no way doing that. There was radio, there was TV, and there was the newspaper. That's it. And maybe if you are good in communication, you work hard for ages, then it's like word of mouth. Maybe then people knew about you, but that's it. And today we just have this opportunity. So I think it's kind of my obligation, really, to do this, and to help others. And I mean, you obviously follow some stuff that I personally say on or do on social media and whatever. And it's basically all about trying to bring value to people, to help people, and to make them laugh. I don't know, to educate a little from the stuff that I've learned, and again, on my side, do exactly the same, learning from you. What you just said was super beautiful. You just said we should live more in the present, except of living in the future or the past, because that's the only moment that we have. And when I listen to that, man, that's just it's just clicking in my head. I'm like, he's 100% correct. Like you can.
I mean, I think it's easily it's something that we easily can say, but maybe it's not that easy to do. I say that I try to live the moments, the present, but I also know that my mind is always thinking, what should I do next? Not only with my life, if I don't know, in a few hours I have to go bike riding with my girlfriend, and and tomorrow is Monday, and oh shit, and I don't know, but it's not about always being present. It's about when you have to be present. If you are having a good time, if you are doing this podcast and having a good time, okay, enjoy this moment, think about it and remember it when, I don't know, when you're down, or I don't know.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
I used to live in the past also, when I went back to Chile, and few years later, I was in this dark time where I didn't know what I want to do with my life. I only wanted to go to Hamburg and be with you and be 16 again and just don't have any responsibilities. And it wasn't a good exercise, because it only made me want the past, something that it's impossible to repeat. So I learned a lot about, stop trying to relive moments and live and live new ones,
Exactly. I realize that more and more in my life now as well. I really try to focus on the present and the future. Like, let's say 60-40 or whatever, like or 50-50. I try to, but I don't really try to look at the past. I only try to look at the past in terms of what could I learn from it? What could I learn from what I've done? And how did it, like, what does it do me good now, And that's the only way I try to think about the past. Other than that, I just, as you said, try to be in the present moment and focus on the future, how you can, I don't know, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want your life to be and all that. And funny enough, I just went down here because I picked a book up. I don't know if you've ever read it, but it fits perfectly to what we are discussing. I'm not making any advertisement here. I'm just,
Okay.
I just love the book. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Did you ever read it?
No.
Okay, so it's by Dr. Joey Dispenza. It's one of, or maybe the most famous doctor in a field of, or which combines physics with psychology and biology. And he explains very, very well and very simple, both, like all the three fields are very complex in and of themselves, but he tells you why you are the way you are, and what does it have to do with physics, what does it have to do with your brain and how your brain works, and what does it have to do with your body and how your body works. And the funny thing about it is that it's all connected, and it's all like a cycle, and everything is interconnected. And if you want to, he tells you in this book, for example, and there are a lot of podcasts out there from him as well, where he explains the whole thing, that once you read that and once you listen to what he says, a lot of stuff clicks in your mind about why the way you are, like why are you the way you are, and how does your body work, how does your mind work, and what does it actually have to do with physics. And it's super, super, super interesting, and he is the leading person in this field. I can only highly recommend to read it. I gave it to, or I told one of my best friends about it, and he read it and he said exactly the same thing. And he's a very smart guy, very cool guy. I like him a lot. And when he says a book is good, a book is good.
It's good.
He's
I'll be searching for it here in Chile.
You should, man. Like, honestly, it is super interesting. And
what's the name? Sorry,
it's called The Habit, and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And it's just super interesting. There's so much knowledge in there that you and me and nobody really knows about, but like the biology of your body, how it responds to your mind, and how your mind responds to the body. And then just fucking read it, man. It's great.
It's available. I will buy it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, really, really good. So back to the topic of what you do and how you came about it. So what are your goals for the future then? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to build your own companies? Do you want to?
Yeah, I think maybe try to take everything I've been learning and build my own kind of company in which I can do whatever I want. No, but I don't know. Take audio. This thing with audio it's very important to me. With radio stations, with podcasts, with creating content, with I don't know my short stories, what the things I write. I also want to. I don't want to be famous or whatever. I just want to help people. To share their own writing, and I don't know, man. To create a space. This is what I imagine: a space in which we can talk about many things and have the liberty of discussing with a lot of people everything we want. And I don't know.
It's basically like a forum.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I would love to have my own radio station. I already have my own radio station. It's an online radio station with my music, but I haven't done anything with it.
Yeah,
it's just there.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about mental health. That's for me, it's a very big it's a very important thing to me, mental health, and I've been struggling with it. And by writing, by talking about it, and creating this space in which we can talk about and educate other people and make them not feeling alone, and make them feel hopeful. And
Nice.
That's something. It's it's very vague, but I haven't figured it out. But I'm in this process. I'm in this process. As I said, I'm in the correct path to it.
Yeah, that's great. That reminds me a little of what I had in my mind for a different topic. It sounds stupid when I say this now, but some people who have a specific topic like you, like mental health, they start with a simple Facebook group.
Yeah.
Like it's weird, but you can start with a Facebook group where people just chat with each other and give support each other, like you said, and help and ask questions, and somebody else can answer it or maybe not, and then they figure out together, like a community of people helping each other out to in a specific topic, kind of. And I had the same idea of creating a group or creating a website or like both, and other things, where people just talk about just getting better, or just general problems. And how did you deal with this problem? How did you do that? And, just how do you structure your day? How do you get, I don't know, just anything really. And
that's a very interesting topic, and we can talk in another episode. We can talk longer,
of course.
Because that's something I would really love to talk about.
100%. I mean, I want to talk to you again anyway, like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, whatever, and we will do that. So for everybody who's watching this and listening, Awelo is not going to be on here for one time, because I told him in between the short breaks that I haven't even started with all my questions that I wanted to ask him. And it has been great today. So again, thank you very much. Maybe just drop the short or explain why Awelo. Just quickly. Why are you called the grandpa?
Grandpa. I was very young. I was like 10. No, I was like 12, and we were playing with some friends. We were playing football with some friends, and this guy, this cousin of a friend who was playing with us, he just said to me, "Hey, Awelo, pass the ball," or whatever. And I said, "Why Awelo? Why grandpa?" At the time, I used to wear glasses, and I don't know. I was quiet. I was shy. I think that it's a very stupid. I think it hasn't a very good explanation. It just happened, people went with it, and I'm still grandpa.
That's great, man. I can already see you as a really nice grandpa, man. I would like to be I would like to be in that family for sure. But cool. Do you have anything to say to the people who are listening or watching? Do you want to end this with something specific, or?
Well, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you understand my English. I know it's not perfect, but I'm trying to get better. And I hope you can still listening and watching this podcast. I've been, because of it is in German, it's difficult to me to understand everything. But when I sometimes I go and watch a little, and I can, understand a few words, and it's very interesting. I hope we can see each other again in another episode. And it was a very big pleasure to be here in your podcast.
Same so for
thank
me,
you.
man.
Thank you very much.
Awelo, I can only give that back to you, and it was a pleasure to talk to you as always. And next time we're gonna talk about so much more, promised, and so many interesting things. As said, haven't covered at least 10% or so maybe. And I want to thank you again for being on here, and to everybody else who's listening or watching. I think, or I hope that you could get something out of this. And if you do, make sure to, tell a friend, share it on any platform you want. And other than that, I would say I see you next time. And I'm looking forward to our next session, Awelo.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.